I can remember being scared to have the operation. During the surgery, I almost died, and I can remember rising out of my body a few feet, and all I was interested in seeing was my mother. I did notice a great big huge light coming from above me. I couldn't tell if this was a surgery light, or if it came from elsewhere. I floated through doorways and didn't pay any attention to the surgical goings-on. The main thing that I was interested in was comforting my mother. I remember that she was with a couple of her friends. I wanted so very badly just to be able to reach out and hold her. I can remember being there with them. Of course, they had no idea. Suddenly, I was snapped away. Something must have happened in the operating room, and I was whisked back into my body. After my operation, and throughout the rest of my childhood, I became an adult. I had no childhood really, and I was always there to help my mother. I think this was even stronger since her family was in England. I lived in a rural area, and had shot 2 rabbits for supper that night. As I was cleaning them, one of the rabbits smelled horrible. I discarded it, but had cut myself in skinning them. I came down with a high fever in the next day or so. Flu-like symptoms at first, but the fever climbed. I was taken to hospital and slipped inside a body bag. Then I was packed in ice to reduce fever, which was still climbing. On the 2nd or 3rd day, I felt a shift in consciousness. I was no longer uncomfortable or frightened. I was outside my body, like being several stories above my bed, but being able to see everything in the room crisply and clearly. I remember being like at a crossroads. Yet I knew this was like a dream. That is, my own consciousness was providing an image for something I didn't quite understand. At this crossroads, I knew that I had to choose. To my right was death and the solid sense of a very different world than I'd ever experienced. To my left was a road back to my body. I knew if I chose now, I would go wherever I chose, no doubt about it. I did not, however, know how to make that decision, not out of fear, but out of realizing I had no criteria for making such a judgment. Next, NDE. I looked down and saw my poor emaciated body in the bed, quite still. My father sat beside the bed weeping, holding my hand. I had never seen him weep like this before, and I thought it very curious. I actually remember thinking, why would anyone cry because of death? I did, however, feel sad for him, and think that it was only out of deference to him that I returned to my body. Next, NDE. I remember exactly nothing of what happened immediately before the NDE started, or immediately after it ended. I do not remember leaving my body. My recall begins as I find myself hovering up near the ceiling, slightly to the right of the ceiling light. I am above my body, which my mother has placed on the baby's changing table. The doctor comes in with his overcoat on and looks down at me, as my mother stands next to him talking. I watch them with little interest. I know that is me on the changing table. I feel no attachment to me or to my mom, other than I kind of feel sorry for her. Then I turn around and leave through the ceiling. Outside, it's dark and the sky is clear. I look up at the sky, looking for something. Then I see what I expect, a point of light in the sky, a star. I lock onto it, and immediately start flying, not through the sky, but through this kind of dark void. I fly as fast as I can, which is incredibly fast. I don't see if I have a body, but it feels like I do. There's this rushing wind sound, but I don't feel the airflow. It's not cold, it's not warm, it is the perfect temperature. I know there are others around me, but I don't see them. I know where I'm going. Then, a transition. I am slowing down. I see the pinpoint light, the star, getting closer. I'm slowing down. Something is making me slow down. I am almost completely stopped, but I press forward, but there is like a force field or something I'm pressing against. It doesn't hurt, it just won't let me go forward. So, I'm a little confused. I look back to where I came from, which is not something I actually see, but I know where it is. I am hovering in a void, suspended in mid-air. I turn towards the star, or the light again, and the message is clear. I wonder if I'm supposed to turn around, and I get an answer in my head. Yes. So I mentally shrug my shoulders. I'm still confused about why I can't come back, not to Mercer Island, but to the star. But, okay, I'll turn around and go back to the other place. I know exactly how to get back, even though I don't really want to. So I return.